I'm going to share with you a step-by-step guide of how you can get properties from estate agents before they hit the market, before they list them on platforms like Rightmove. And this is a practical guide which works today, because how do I know this? Because Jazz has just been through my coaching program and he's already getting estate agents starting to send him deals. It's a pretty straightforward formula. It's no BS, no fancy buying donuts and these fandabidosi sort of tricks, and definitely doesn't involve a brand envelope under the table, but it does involve a consistent effort from you. But that consistent effort can be as little as 15 to 30 minutes per day. This is what I call my 15-minute deal sourcer formula. So what it starts with is, first of all, learning to analyze deals. That's another video for another day. But this is pretty straightforward. How you start getting deals, and if you want to get a lot of deals, especially sell some deals on. I went from 5 deals in my first 5 years to nearly 50 deals in a 2-year period, buying roughly 1 a month for myself and sourcing on 1 or 2 to investors when I adopted this method. And it was called building a pipeline, because what happens is, think of it like a tap like this. But think of it a tap. Most people that want to sell their property have got no interest day one on selling it cheap. There's very few motivated sellers. I know online, this is why it's no BS. I know online when you hear these gurus saying, go and find motivated sellers, solve their problems. This is the reality of it. There was the end of last year when interest rates massively spiked, there was about 178,000 homes with mortgage arrears, not actually repossessed, with mortgage arrears. And that is out of 28 million homes. So it's not a massive significant amount of properties on the grand scheme of things. And about to being repossessed is probably one of the highest reasons for motivations. But again, about 10% of properties got sold off market. So 90% of property transactions got sold via an estate agent. So what you want to do is, number one, learn how to build a pipeline out so you can start getting these deals. Because what happens is, you think of it like this: week one, somebody puts their property on the market, let's say for 100K. You, as an investor, could probably only give around 70K. Again, lots of people will say, hey, let's make a lowball offer. Let's take a cheeky offer on that. Definitely don't do that. What you do is you just pee people off. It really offends them. I had a property with a tenant sitting in it. She said to me, hey, my brother-in-law wants to buy the house. Will you sell it? I said, not really. I don't really sell properties. But if he makes me a really strong offer on the property, I might sell it. But other than that, I'm not going to sell it for like a cheap, silly price. But if he wants to offer, he can do. Come back, offered me £48,000 for a property that's worth probably 75, 85K. And it just bothered me. And even if they come up with their price afterwards, I would just not sold it to them. So don't do this. But what you do at this stage here is you say to the agent, and bear with me, you might be thinking, what has this got to do with getting off market deals? You're talking about on market deals. It does come back round, so bear with us. So what you do at this stage here, when it first comes to the market, let's get a different colour for this just to make it look a bit prettier. When it first comes to the market, you just say, hey, I'm not going to offer on this. This is what we call the offer without offer. So you say, I'm not going to offer on this because I can only pay this much money here, and they want this much money, so I do not want to offend them and embarrass them or anything. But what I will do is I keep an eye on the property. As their situation shifts, I'm here, you never know, the situation might shift. Then you just wait, and then each week you call up the agent, or every other week, depending on the agent, you just make a judgment on this, whether or not you're pestering them. But you find out about other properties as well. But each week you start calling, and when you start getting down to about week 10, 11 and 12, but once you start getting down to this sort of territory down here, people's motivation shifts. This happened to me. I had a car for sale. Auto Trader said to put it on for one price. I thought, I've got kids, it's a little bit wear and tear on the car, but let me try. I wasn't motivated, so I put it on for a maximum price to see if I got any bites on it. 6 weeks in, not even one phone call. Dropped the price 500 quid. Another 6 weeks after, so 12 weeks in, dropped the price again, another 500 pounds. And that first day I dropped it, a trader phoned up and said, hey, I'll give you £500 less, so £1,500 less than I originally put it on day one. At that point, I was open to negotiation because my motivation shifted, and he done it politely. He didn't try and do me some low ball offered. But if he offered me 1,500 quid on day one, that would have just annoyed me, even though I probably knew deep down subconsciously that the car was probably worth that. It would have annoyed me, and I probably wouldn't have sold it to him at all. So this is the same method with this. But this is how you get off market deals as well. So as I said, Jazz, what he done is he looked at a property on this certain street. So say he see this property on week one, you see it here, it was on for, say, I think it was on for about 100, don't quote me on his numbers, it's on for 120K, Jazz wanting to pay 90K for it. So he done this method up here, the offer without offer. He said, well, I'm not going to offer on this, blah, blah, blah. But that property got sold. But guess what? Because he's now every week, or at least every other week, speaking to the same agents, this is why you want to pick just a handful of agents. Guess what? Later down the line, because he showed an interest in this property here, when one was coming to the market again, the agent phoned him up and said, hey, do you know that property you liked that sold? And obviously you give an indication of how much you wanted to pay for them properties. We've got another one coming to the market. He got this deal and he got access to looking at this deal before it hit the market. At time of recording, not sure if Jazz has secured the deal or not, but ultimately when you do this regular enough, this is when you start getting off-market deals from agents. As I said, if you do not learn how to buy deals from agents, seeing as they've got 90% of the stock, you're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table. So it's not about this guerrilla marketing. Yes, I'm not saying don't go and do off-market property letters and Facebook and direct-to-vendor stuff. Yes, do that, but you want to learn this method, which is pretty straightforward and can be done in as little as 15 to 30 minutes per day. Some days you'd have to give more on it, but this is just the analyzation of deals, searching for them, phone up the agents. This is what I call my 15-minute deal sourcer formula, because it can be done in, guess what, as little as 15 minutes. But if you found that useful, make sure you smash that subscribe button. My wife's live on my terms. My mission is to help as many people live on their terms. So please share this out if you found it useful. Comment below what your thoughts are. Are you in the property market? This is working right now, so make sure you start implementing that. And remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you never live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms, and have an amazing day.